Whoa, what's the deal? We in the building. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the No Pick Show. I'm your host, chedda-chaz. I got my dog, Just A. Davis, with me. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the building. Happy Mother's Day to all the single fathers doing the job of both parents.
Hey,
Like, it's funny because they'll say that on Father's Day, but they say
facts,
it on Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying?
facts.
Mother's Day is standing room only. Father's Day, you can sit wherever you want in the restaurant. You
That's
can
what
sit,
I'm saying. In room only.
yeah, you can go in the kitchen and cook on Father's Day. On Mother's Day, you gotta wait.
Mhm.
But shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the hype button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Also, so you was on fire today, brother. You was on fire today. Look, the draft lottery, in my opinion, it fell in the Pelicans' favor,
I
not in
definitely
some
think so.
people's favor. Like you want to say the Indiana Pacers and their president of basketball operations came out. He
Hmm.
spoke to this, which I didn't think was necessarily a good move, but I appreciate him
Hmm.
uh just throwing himself on the sword. Pause. So we're gonna get into it, man. What was your takeaway from the draft lottery? I'm gonna read out the names. The Washington Wizards,
Hmm.
congratulations to them. Finally got one, got the
Thanks.
Hit Nigga Damn Award.
Yep.
Uh Number one pick, Utah Jazz, another Hit Nigga Damn Award.
Yep.
Memphis
Yep.
Grizzlies with the third pick, another
Shout
Hit
out to
Nigga Damn
them.
Award.
Yep.
Chicago Bulls, number 4 pick. Hopefully they get that foundational piece finally. Los Angeles Clippers get the 5th pick from the Indiana Pacers. We're going to talk about that. Then you got the Brooklyn Nets who fell, Sacramento Kings who fell to 7. The Pelicans forfeited the 8th pick to the Atlanta
Ooh,
Hawks. Woo.
praise
Forfeited
his
the 8th pick
name.
to the Atlanta Hawks. Dallas Mavericks with the 9th pick. Milwaukee Bucks with the 10th pick. So that pick didn't jump neither by the grace of God.
Yep.
Golden State Warriors 11. Going to talk about them. OKC
Hmm.
12. Got to talk about them. Miami Heat
Hmm.
13. Charlotte Hornets 14. So, brother, when you hear those names being listed, what are you thinking?
First off, I gotta talk about us. Shout out to us for not being completely destroyed by. First off, it would have been brutal if, like, again, Indy's situation, it jumped right to the point where it was kind of annoying, like being at 5. Like, because if it would have been top 4, like, then people would have been like, oh, it don't matter. You know what I mean? We wouldn't have got that pick anyway.
Shout out to everybody in the building. I'm sorry, brother. Shout out to everybody in
you
the
good,
building.
man. Appreciate y'all. So it's just kind of like if Indy pick goes number 4, people wouldn't be talking about it because it was top 4 protected. But it went to 5, so it's kind of like people bringing that up. But whatever to that. But I'm glad the pick that we had talked about, or most people was talking about all season, right? Was all season the pick that we was talking about
was the Pelicans pick.
Nobody gave a fuck about the Indy pick all season. It was the Pelicans pick, and to a lesser degree the Bucks pick, right? Because you could have swapped for either one or whatever.
Facts.
Both picks fell right where you wanted them to, 8 and 10. And honestly, if you look at Derik Queen as a player, even compared to people who said this draft class is one of the greatest draft classes, regardless if you like Derik Queen or not, most people, if you look at Derik Queen at like number 8 in line with some of the players that's looking to go 8, you'd be like, I think I'll take Derik. Right?
Okay.
And to a lesser, maybe to a lesser degree, even the players they looking at around 5. Not saying that they don't have players that you like at 5, but you could make an argument that if Derik Queen was still in college and like what he probably would have looked like in college, you could have made a argument that he would have been around 5 anyway, depending on, you know what I mean? Depending on his production and stuff like that. So as far as like from a Pelicans perspective, bro, I think we made out like bandits.
Okay.
To be honest, I think we the pick didn't jump, and it didn't do nothing that just would have had you be like, oh fuck, here we go, we didn't gave up AJ. You know what I mean?
Also, one takeaway as well is to, say you got Derik in your system for 1 year, you got him in the building, got yourself to ingratiate. You got a chance to ingratiate yourself with him, with his family. Probably got a chance to implement a few things like his working relationship with DeAndre Jordan going into this offseason. And shout out to Louisiana Gal. She makes a good point. She says someone who didn't like Derik as a prospect and isn't a huge fan of him now, he would have went top 6 this year.
Because in my opinion, easily.
Because I think the drop-off, I don't want to say drop-off because you got surprises every year, but I think the conversation really starts at like 5. Right. Like to where it's like, is it a cuff? Is it somewhere else? And for me, in my opinion, it's like, look, I'm not the hugest fan of Derik Queen as it currently stands. Hopefully, I think he has a narrow path.
The jury's still out.
Yeah, the jury's still out, right? But when I look at how the draft fell or how it's projected to fall as far as mock drafts, I'm not excited at the prospects of getting a bunch of combo guards, because you're talking about undersized guards in a couple other people until you get the native men, and it gets to the point where it's just like, all right, do I really want a 6'2" guard to pair next to Jeremiah Fears at this point? I know talent is talent, but you also got to consider, like, this isn't, well, which I most hated in the building. This isn't the days of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. And also keep in mind, Damian Lillard was a prolific player, and same with CJ McCollum at a certain point in his career. So, I'm not thrilled about the idea of an undersized backcourt, even if that was an option personally.
In addition to that, like, let's say we would have had an opportunity to keep the pick or whatever. First off, like, who's to say if we would, because I firmly believe if we would have had control of the pick, we would have tanked. I think that would have been worse on the team and like the development of the team moving forward for Jeremiah, for DQ, if they actually tanked during the season and some of that circumstances than them playing it out the way that they did. Also, what would be more depressing is, let's say, like the year before, when you got top 4 odds, top 5 odds, and that motherfucker fall to 8. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you even more hurt about it, right? And then not only that, again, to your point, you got a year ahead of, like, you got a year of Derik Queen in your building, like, working on his his physical stature, making sure he get his body together, and all kind of other advantages. And then if you take DQ at his word for however you feel about it, I go back to what DQ said in the introductory press conference. He was like, bro, I've been playing against these dudes their whole life. I've been like, ain't none of them gonna be better than me. I don't know if it's true or not, but again, he stood on it. And if you really break down the draft class, other than, like, you give benefit of the doubt to, like, let's say the top 4, right? Top 4, top 5 players, at least something like that.
Probably top,
top 3,
top 3, and then it gets a little funny. But this draft, you would say top 4,
right. So in this one, you said top 4, depending on where you got A cuff, maybe top 5, something like that. But other than that, you can't name a bunch of those players and just say definitively they're going to be better than Derik Queen. So how I look at it is, the only other option you could say is if you would have kept the picks, you could have been like, well, I could have traded 5 and 8 and did something else. You know what I mean? So, like, the value of the pick from that aspect, I understand. But again, man, it just don't mean nothing, because things play out the way they play out. If we don't trade the pick back to Indiana, I think Indiana, with no control of their pick, go about their season completely different. Like, shout
out to my brother 504 boy in the building with the 10-piece. Appreciate you for that sub.
Appreciate y'all, dog.
Yeah. To your point, I know you mentioned Indiana potentially going about the year different. I agree. I think, because look, I was one of the first people to mention this when it happened. Like, I wasn't thrilled. I feel like it was a bit jumping the gun. Of course, we know what ended up ultimately happening with Tyrese Halliburton, unfortunately. But I'll say this. The only thing I'm really upset about is, not upset, but the only thing that bothered me was, like, the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost being, I could have potentially traded this pick. Like, this totally hypothetically, I'm willing this into existence. Let's say Jaylen Brown becomes available and you got the number 5 pick and some stuff. Right, you can say, "Oh shit, I got number 5 pick. I could have traded for this." And I want to add this as well, because I think this is a very important to say. You can't have it both ways. I know the old adage that 2 things can be true, and it's like, yes, in certain situations they can, but you can't keep bitching about the process of acquiring Derik Queen, and then out in the same breath say you think Derik Queen is projected to be one of the better big men in the game, best passer in the game, he's better than Zion already. He's just an incredibly effective player. You can't have it both ways, because if you love a prospect, if you think this guy's upside is tremendous, you got to do what it takes to go get that guy. And this front office did that. So if you're a person that's kind of on the fence, it's like, but if you're a person that you
believe he'll star,
you fully believe that this guy's all-star quality, you project him to be a potential all-NBA guy someday, you think he could potentially be a foundational piece of your organization, it's time to stop bitching. You gotta stop. No, you know what I'm saying? Because at this point, like we spoke about this before the show, if this is not a fair comparison, but let's just say I'm trying to think of somebody who's, let's say Harper, right? Dylan Harper, for example. He was projected to go number 2, right? Had a rough rookie year, but it was still, he's the pedigree is there, but he didn't really showcase it much on the court this year. But if you were in love with that prospect, you probably would have been willing to trade 2 firsts to move up to 2 to get him. Absolutely. And no one probably would have complained unless he ultimately became a bust. And I think that's one of the situations with Derik Queen is like, again, if you believe in Derik Queen and this is a team that needs to acquire high level talent because you're not necessarily going to be able to get it via free agency. So the only way it can come is through the draft or through trade.
Yes.
If you feel like you were able to acquire high level talent and you believe in said player, then I think it's time for you to move on. Ultimately, I really do.
Also, this like to me, before Joe Dumars and Troy got here, right? We've had a history of like not being aggressive. You know what I mean? Like of seeing somebody and not going to get you. Or like, man, you hear a lot about like.
I've heard so many stories, bro. Jabari, Ivy, I've heard it all.
A whole bunch of deals that's not made, right? A whole bunch of deals that don't get made. And you know what? Not making those deals have done. Like when you don't make the deals, we don't always see that those things turn into, great situations. Like it's not like just because they, for example, let's say they don't do the deal, that don't mean we was gonna end up with number 5 and number 8 if that was the case. Like everything could have played completely different. Like we're looking at it because this is what like ultimately happened, but it don't always go like that. So what I do appreciate is when they first got in here with very minimal time, right? They had to be like they had 2 players in the draft that they ultimately loved and was like, listen, we don't know what's going on in the future, but if we could come away with these 2 dudes, I think we got something moving forward. When the season finished, you know what everybody was saying? No matter what happened, we got 2 dudes that we could like, and it's the fan base I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like when fucking Queen had that, what he had at the end of season 30 and 20. And Jeremiah was finishing the season with them games in a row at 35 and all of that. You ain't hear nobody talking about the motherfucking pick. You know what I'm saying?
It's just one of those things. I mean, shout out to everybody in the building. We got 70 people in the building. Make sure you take a moment, hit the like button, man. We appreciate all y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Yeah, man. To me, it's like, look, I understand both sides of it from the standpoint of I look at it this way. If this is someone you really wanted and there was no avenue, like protecting the pick may not have been an avenue. You saw the Pacers president of basketball operations speak on that today. He was like, protecting the pick and us going like further protecting it, making it top 7 protected wasn't a possibility.
An option.
It wasn't an option. We wanted Zubac. They didn't necessarily want to trade Zubac, so they made it especially difficult to go out and acquire him. And they did it.
If you don't mind, let me interrupt you real quick. You know what's crazy about that is people was like they gave up Ben Mathurin, who they probably was gonna let walk anyway for nothing, right?
I don't think they was gonna pay Ben.
So they're not paying. So because I'm looking at people posting the trade about the Indiana got fleeced, right? So Zubac, if you really watch the Clippers, most people don't even really fucking watch the NBA. Though Zubac was really like a top 5 center on some shit. Like if you look at the productivity, the numbers and stuff like that consistently had been healthy over the last couple of years. Defensively, rebounds the ball. Zoo is a really good player.
Also, I'm sorry to add on to your point, with a team like the Pacers, it's just recognizing that this is not where we are in our process. We're championship or bust moving forward.
Yes, bro.
Tyrese is coming back, and even what was up with your 9 Ward? Tyrese is coming back. He's coming off an injury. He has a shingle situation. The man, that has to truthfully take a couple of years off his athleticism, take a couple of years off his game. Hopefully not, but I think we can pretty much write that in at this point until proven otherwise. So now Siakam and I know Spring Chicken. What's my man's name? That whole team, Nemhard's not a spring chicken. Naismith, I believe he's there. He's not a spring chicken. These dudes aren't necessarily, they're young, but they aren't like they probably have fewer basketball years ahead of them.
They went to a finals. They went to an Eastern Conference final. Like Indiana and Rick Carlisle, not really a rebuild kind of coach.
So
So even if you got a top 4 pick, it's not like that top 4 pick wasn't going to be beneficial to them, or it's not something like, they wouldn't have got a really good player. But you see them, they already had young players they wouldn't play anyway.
Bro, if they knew they were getting the 5th pick, you know what they would have did, bro? Look to trade the pick.
Look to trade it.
They took that 5th pick and said, all right, who can we trade this for to get a star and bring a star back to pair with everything? Now you got your center of the future. You easily replace Miles Turner. Especially more so for what you're looking to do moving forward. Now, here's why I think the way the draft fell helped the Pelicans a little bit, right? The West, aside from Memphis, didn't really improve. Like, to me, Utah was always good. Utah was just always wearing the disguise. So now, because no matter what, in my opinion, Utah was going to be balling next year. Great coaching staff, great front court. Keontae George was balling.
They do it every season. They start off strong and then they decide time to bottom out.
Pound for pound, Utah is one of the better teams in the NBA if they didn't tank on purpose, right? You got them. You got let me see who else you got. You got Sacramento that fell, so that's another team in the West who won't be improving. The Clippers, they're in rebuild mode. They probably going to end up trading Kawhi. You're not worried about them.
They probably end up trading Kawhi. They probably end up moving Garland too. That's something.
It's another guy you make a keep an eye on as a distressed asset. I hope not, but I don't know. But
I'm just saying,
all that being said,
Golden State didn't jump up.
Yeah, Golden State didn't jump up. That's another team that's going to be ranking your phone. Herb Jones potentially. Now, one team, and this is a old friend in Bryson Graham. He's there in Chicago right now, and when you just look at not necessarily relationships, but you look at patterns. Troy Weaver, big fan of DMV guys. You got a guy over there in Jalen Smith, University of Maryland guy, just got inducted into, I think, the Catholic School Hall of Fame or something along those lines. So Gail's gonna love that. Gail gonna support that. What do you think about a scenario where the Pelicans send out, one of Bryson Graham's favorite, the guy he's credited with discovering, in Herb Jones for Chicago's pick via Portland? I think it's like pick 14 or something along those lines. And Jalen Smith for
they got pick 15.
Pick 15, perfect. Yep. For University of Maryland guy, 2020 draftee. Played very well last year. Can rebound the ball. Can shoot the three. I think he shot like 37% from the three.
I like Jalen Smith a lot. I liked him when he was in Indiana.
Yeah, I liked him in Indiana as well. Athletic guy, can protect the rim a little bit. Not 7 foot, but a very solid fringe starter, rotational guy. Gives you a cheap play starter at center. Gives Eve more time to develop. If you are going to keep on Eve. And you get a draft pick. I do think this is something that the Chicago Bulls will consider. What do you think of a deal like this?
So I would, first off, as far as the deal itself, I would absolutely consider it because I think right now is the time to maximize Herb Jones. Like, I think you absolutely have to, because one, if you could get back into the first round, I think you do it, especially if you can get somewhere around that number 15. You got Golden State around 11. You know what I mean? Like, if you could get anywhere in that 11 to 16, 17 range, I think you're going to have some really good options for your team. So I 1000% would consider it. You get off the money before Herb contract really kick in. I'm the mindset that, like, and then what's crazy is that, like, I think Bryson more than anybody would be willing to do it. One, because they said they in asset acquiring assets. And I don't know how he feel about Herb Jones. I know they might not be looking to give out first round picks, but at the same time, like,
you jump into number 4 helps your stomach it.
Exactly. So you jump into 4, you get a high, talent. But again, you got young talent that was already there from last year that's going to need opportunity to play. And maybe, and the thing about Bryson, remember, this is what's key to what lets you know that Bryson might actually be willing to do the deal. When Joe Dumars said they was calling people to trade and to trade for the DQ pick, it was Bryson that decided to do the deal.
And that's another reason why, it's someone who they already established a relationship with.
Yes, very familiar
Again, this is
with.
a guy who Bryson is credited with discovering, or at least one of the guys who Bryson is credited with discovering. They still have a lot of talent in Chicago with Giddy, with I always forget this guy's name. Is it Batas?
Matas, Buzelis?
Yes, Buzelis, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Matas. So I'm sure they would like to move over Patrick Williams' contract. I wouldn't be willing to help them with that at
Absolutely
all.
Not.
Unless you was taking back DeJounte, and then I would maybe
need something.
I would need a first along with that. But the reason why I think Herb is such an interesting thing, like for us trade wise, and why they may explore this avenue is because of some comments Troy Weaver made about Killian Hayes. Now we all know where Killian Hayes was drafted. We all know what ultimately ended up with him. He ended up, being waived. And I think Troy Weaver's comments about Killian Hayes' defense versus his shooting on the perimeter was really telling. So I'm gonna try to cue this up for you.
But if you're a guard in the NBA, you got to make shots. Away from the basket, the more skilled you have to be. The closer to the basket, the less skilled you can be. And if you're a guard, you got to make shots. And I've talked to Killian ad nauseum about that, improving his shooting. And that was ultimately why he wasn't as successful as a player that he should be. But he has all the attributes of being a good player. But when you're a guard, shooting is paramount. And the other guys that are stepping up, as we've seen, whether
I think we pretty much got the gist of it. So what do you make of those comments?
Two things. One is that I know we haven't heard Troy speak just, at all as a Pelican, but I like the fact that he was willing to admit being wrong on Killian, while ultimately he drafted Killian, so he did give Killian plenty of opportunities, right?
I think it was pick 7, right?
Yeah, I know it was top 10 for sure, but when it's your guy, you give him opportunities. I get that, and even that, he was like, "Shit, if you can't shoot as a guard or a perimeter player, ain't nothing we could do." And ultimately had to move on. So one, I like him being able to admit, okay, look, that dude, nothing we could do. The second thing I like is
that's Troy. Yeah, that's Troy Weaver 504. That's my first time seeing Troy. That's Troy Weaver.
You don't know what Troy sound like. You hear me?
Everybody in the building, man. We got 80 people in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Peace to all y'all. Go ahead, Al.
Absolutely. But and then the second point is that I like how he simplified. The closer to the basket, the less skilled you could be. The further away from the basket, the more skilled you have to be. And listen, I hate to have this conversation, but I personally, this is just for me personally, I just don't think Herb Jones, with him shooting the way that he's shooting, is a top 7 player on this. If he is top 7, he's the number 7 player on this team. And I barely got him there. I could make an argument that Bryce McGowan can contribute just as much. If Peavy takes a step, he can. I don't think he's gonna be Herb just yet, but you know what I mean. I think he can.
The leap isn't that high.
Yeah, he don't have to be the drop off from what Herb gave you last year and the last 2 seasons. You know what I mean? If you give those guys the same type of runway or minutes, I can't say they can't give you what Herb Jones is giving you right now. So I appreciate Troy for that.
Now I have another trade queued up, and again, we got 90 people in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I got another trade queued up. Now this one is a little more ambitious on my part. It's a little ambitious. Now shout out to the Washington Wizards. Again, got the Hit Nigga Damn Award, got the #1 pick. Shout out to y'all.
I'm calling.
We think we know AJ getting the pick. We AJ going first, so who's going first? Is it AJ?
I think so you know what's interesting, real quick, and I know you got the trade queued up.
No, go ahead.
A lot of people think AJ going first, and I think AJ likely goes first, but similar to when Paolo went first, people didn't say Paolo was going first until
people thought it was Chet or Jabari.
Exactly.
Really Jabari. People thought it was Jabari.
Paolo was projected to go third. So the one thing you know about the draft is, unless it's a consensus, like Zion was a consensus, Brian was it, Wemby a consensus. This don't feel to me. This don't feel like Coop last year. Cooper last year was a consensus. It don't feel like that to me.
I thought up until I want to say the last stretch of the season that Darren Peterson was going first.
Darren Peterson, listen, when them two played, when BYU played Kansas, And in that first half, before
whatever the fuck happened,
yeah, Darren Peterson was out there swinging belt, boy.
That's why. That's one of the reasons, though, why I think. And then he had the creatine story that just came out. Shout out to creatine. We'll take a sponsorship if you're interested. But that's why I think if you're Washington, after what happened with John Wall and his injuries, and then Bradley Beal with his hamstrings, his injuries, it's like, look, give me the safest bet possible, even if the ceiling is a little lower. Give me the safest bet possible, because again, people forget they got Trae Young, Anthony Davis. They can still move. You got Trey Johnson, who I want to talk about now. You got a couple other young guys there that's balling, and now the perimeter is getting
Bub over there, Will Riley over there. They got some dogs.
The perimeter getting a little crowded.
Yeah,
maybe they looking at things and say, hey, we could be who knows? Maybe we could be a version of OKC East, and the East is wide open in my opinion. Like
I agree.
These are wide open. They can potentially make some noise next year. But here's the trade that I had queued up. It's a little ambitious, but I think I would consider it if I were them. So Trey Johnson, last year's pick. What did he go 6?
Yeah, he went
didn't have a great year, but he's still a really good player. Went right before Jeremiah Fizz. And just give me a second round pick.
I'll say this:
second round pick.
So I don't think they'll do it. But let me give you a scenario in which they might consider it.
Okay,
might consider it. So you got number one, you getting ready to take an elite wing, right? So you got that. Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis applies the pressure of, bro, what are y'all trying to do? I want to contend. I want to compete.
Do you think they'll let AD pressure them when he needs a new contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's what, like, so you got one or two routes. One, I know you acquired AD and Trey, and just as like you acquired them, like you could let them go, right? Yeah, I could let them go. A little ambitious Louisiana gal, funny, right?
Who you think Herb Jones?
Listen,
I was gonna ask you for him in a second.
Listen, so this the thought, right? I don't believe. Listen, Herb a year ago had all kind of value. I'm not saying you get Trey Johnson for him, but this is why I say you might have a situation where they even consider it, right? It's because let's say AD applies the pressure, right? You traded for AD. Either you're gonna trade for him and let him go, or you're gonna trade for Trey and then let him go. And then you right back in the same situation. Even if you got AJ, it's not to say that you're not about to do another 4-5 years before these dudes ready. Right?
And yeah, okay. So you in that case, you're saying you would have to liquidate AD and potentially Trey in that scenario?
I'm saying you did one or two things. You either traded for AD and Trey because you told yourself, okay, listen, we tired of losing. At some point, we're gonna try and start building to make somewhat of a run, right? Because what's the point of trading for them? Like, you already knew you was gonna be bad and have a shot at the number one pick anyway before you traded for them,
right? Like,
that's just first. You could have just got the number one pick, and you could have just had all your young dudes.
And they got Alex Sarr. They got a lot of talent on that team.
You got Sarr. They got a lot of talent on that team. So it's either one or two things. It's either you're gonna be bad, right? Even because all the young dudes, you still got to figure out how to win.
Yeah.
Or you gonna listen to Trey and AD because Trey getting older. Like, he's still young, but Trey getting older.
Right.
AD getting older. Them dudes not there. Them dudes not there to like just be consistently bad or have to train the young guys. You got to bring in some competitive players, right? And they got the young dudes, but they got to take a significant step for that team to like really contend. So I think the only way you might have a chance with the particular deal that you just presented is because it's like, listen, like they got like 4 or 5 wings. You got like 4 or 5 legitimate.
That's why I say you kind of got to consolidate and get you some defense next to Trey at some point.
Yes.
That's always
dudes, like Bub guard, but he's small. The other dude guard, but he's small. Like, you know what I mean? Like they smaller guards.
And that's really my POV with it. It's like, look, you got Trey. We all respect Trey, but Trey can't.
Yes.
Trey, he's too small. So you're gonna have to get some perimeter defense next to him in the East. The East is still tough. Some might say the East in the regular season is probably going to be a little tougher than the West because you got Tyrese coming back. They just got they lost their pick, but Tyrese coming back. Washington's going to be better. The Celtics may be better depending on what they end up ultimately doing with Jaylen Brown. But when I look at some of the avenues that the Wizards have, it's like you got Anthony Davis and Trae Young so cheap that if you were looking to flip them and get more in a Mikal Bridges scenario, they would have to play out of their minds for a short window of time. And still no one is looking to pay either one of them. No. So it's like they're going to be in Washington at least for a little while.
Yes, and you got to find yourself, like you said, you got to find yourself in a very fortunate situation that somebody's going to say, I need Anthony Davis to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, to even give up what it would take for what a rental, like a half-season rental, like a CJ McCollum type situation with Atlanta. But you got to have a expiring person that's even willing to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point you made. The reason I think these two teams fit perfectly is because of the relationship and the rapport is already established. Whereas Bryson, look, we did good business with you already with the draft. Homie in Washington, we just did good business with you, getting Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey. That's keep the relationship going. Everyone was happy. You were able to move CJ, so you might feel like you won the trade.
Yep, you might be looking at us thinking
we are lit.
I think we did all right. Listen, I'll be honest, right? I'll be honest. If you draft AJ, what you doing? Is Trae starting for you?
What Trae?
Young? Trae Young clearly is starting.
Oh, Trae Johnson. And that's the thing. That's why I think ultimately you have to consolidate. I think you've seen it happen with the Rockets recently. And you've seen it with the Pelicans at certain points. It's like, look, with the time, windows close very fast. There was a point in time when we thought Ja Morant, and clip this, we thought Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Bane, we thought them guys was on the pathway to contention for years to come. That window slammed shut quickly. You know what I'm saying? With the Wizards, it's like you already got two older veterans. You got a couple of prospects. You landed the number one pick finally. Now you got Alex Saul, who I think is a really talented guy. The East is kind of open. You got a pathway to at least the Eastern Conference Finals, in my opinion. That's how little I think of the East as far as for playoffs. Now, in the regular season, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I ain't going to lie, because you still got the Raptors who got avenues to get better. You got different teams, right? But I think if you're the Wizards, got two former All-NBA guys. You just had some success with CJ on a small level. You got Sarr, who's a baller. You just got AJ. You got Trae Johnson waiting in the wings. Yeah, he could be your super six man or what have you. But this guy was a number 6 pick. He's not going to be happy just coming off the bench. You got to consolidate. So what you need to do, because ultimately, if you don't surround Trae Young with defense, it's going to be a problem. Now you're going to run into the same questions that Atlanta ran into. Even when they had the DeJounte Murray, and we know how that went with that pairing. It was like, look, we got to get some defense here.
They a better situation with Dyson, an off-ball dude who don't need the rock.
That's the thing too. I'm glad you said that because it's very hard to develop multiple guys. Trae Young needs the ball to be successful. He can play off ball a little bit, and I'm sorry, Trae Young is an on-ball guy. Trae Johnson can play off ball. But he gonna want to get some shots up, and you're looking to develop AJ and Sarr and Keyshawn,
Anthony Davis and Alex Sarr and Bub on the ball. Like, no,
you need a little guy.
You know what you could use? A dude who could come off your bench for 25 minutes and was a first team All NBA defensive guy a couple seasons ago when you need to throw somebody like. And again, Herb, like what we think of Herb is different, but Herb Jones' reputation around the league again. Just recently, you heard the Lakers saying they want him. You wanted Golden State saying they want him. So I think your fan base, while you might look at it and say, well, Herb shooting numbers, but you're not looking at Herb for offense. All I've been hearing is if you put Herb in a situation where he don't have to be a scorer out there, he can be the most
free safety.
Yes, he could be the most effective parts of himself. So if it's me, I'm selling that. And then, I'll listen, if I could turn Herb Jones into Trae Johnson, like I personally think you found your wing, like one of your wings of the future.
It was one of the greatest expressions. Because when you were saying that just now, it made me think of that. One of the greatest expressions in human history is nigga, please. Because when people were saying like, if you got 4 other people that can score, and all he got to do is defend, he'll be great. It's like, whoa, motherfucker, that's not how that works. You got to be able to put the ball in the motherfucking hoop. I'm not
at least sometimes, bro.
Yeah, look, a motherfucker that just defend that's $2 million nigga job. Not a big balling ass $15-20 million nigga. That's not no. I need a little bit more. Shout out to me and my song. I need a lot more.
Yeah, if you made $14 million and cannot score the ball, and you gotta be, to me, you gotta be Wemby defensively. Like you gotta be Jaden McDaniels defensively. Like you gotta be
and both of them dudes can score. And to me, it's like, look, bro. Ultimately, like we just heard about this. Yo, hold on. We got 90 people in the building, and we only got 29 likes. We're going to play a quick commercial break. During this commercial break, I need y'all to hit the like button. During this commercial break, make sure you smash the like button.
Charles is my name. Jewel Curl is my fame. You could be, you need to know. I'm your hairdresser who really knows.
Boy, niggas say what they want. Jarrell up there with Michael Jackson for me.
People
say what they want.
Will run it.
That's kind of cold. I ain't gonna lie.
Will run it. Especially when you get past like the first couple seconds, you be like, all right, that's a Jarrell.
Wait a minute. Let me go to Peaches and get that on vinyl real quick. That shit kind of cold. Hold on. But yeah, man. Personally, I think the way the lottery fell, ultimately they present some opportunities for the Pelicans because now you got teams that have talent similar to a situation the Hawks were in, where you got talent already in the building, and you can supplement that talent with young prospects. But you're going to have to consolidate. And if I'm the Pelicans, I'm looking to be that second team for people.
You know what's interesting about how the draft felt, and 2 things somebody was mentioning earlier when you talk about like values, like players like Trey ain't have no value, AD ain't have no value. Like value can change very quickly depending on how your season is going. Because if you remember, and I point this out to a lot of people, right? LaMelo Ball at the beginning of last season was in the same boat as Trae Young and
Zion too.
Trae Young, Zion, Ja, all of those dudes had 0 value beginning of the season. You see LaMelo and the Hornets turn it around and go on one of those really good runs, and they wasn't willing to give LaMelo away. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't call and trade for no motherfucking LaMelo Ball,
bro.
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off. Like you just hit the nail on the head, bro. Earlier, like people will say disingenuous shit like, oh, they traded for Jordan Poole when they could have traded for Trae Young. It's like, no, you fool. Trae Young's value decreased as the season went on because that team was winning without him. In the offseason, that was his value was the same. That wasn't an option. There's no way they were going to trade CJ McCollum for trade Trae Young for CJ McCollum. It just wasn't going to happen during the season.
Not to start a season off, no.
No. Even with Kuminga was pretty much given away. There's no way in hell they would have done that during the offseason because they were like, well, if he gets in the building, we'll figure it out. Like even right now, you could probably trade for Jimmy Butler for pennies on the dollar, and that wouldn't have been the case during the regular season. Like things changed, values shift. Like at some point next season, for example, if Herb Jones is playing out of his mind, shooting 40% for 3, somebody gonna say, "I will gladly give you 2 firsts for him." Now, is that likely to happen? Who knows?
Yeah,
but yeah, that value goes up and down.
The same thing is if you trade, like similarly to what happened with Jordan Poole, right? When you looked at Jordan Poole before he got here, it was like we never seen Jordan Poole play that bad, right? That's first. And then CJ, for the people who was just like, man, we should have just kept CJ. Well, I remember when CJ was here, motherfuckers couldn't get rid of CJ fast enough. You know what I mean? You couldn't get rid of CJ fast enough. You didn't think you was going to give CJ an extension, right? So then you was going to end up in a situation where people knew you wasn't gonna get if you would have went
Yeah.
into the season with
like a
CJ,
Brandon situation.
bro, everybody would have been like, it's only a matter of time. They got to give him away. You wasn't going to be able to get like
Maximum
similar value. And then people say, okay, well, you could have just let him expire. And it's like, well, we don't get free agents. So you can't just you can't just let the money fall off the books when you don't have nothing to do with the money. That's not how you keep this team being decent.
That's one of the things I always mention when the Hawkins picking up his option comes up as points of conversation. I'm like, bro, if you're the Pelicans, his expiring is worth way more to you as a trade chip than that money being available to you in free agency. Maybe you can get some fringe around the edge type guys, maybe, but you're talking about potentially overpaying for them, just like you had to overpay for Kevon Looney. You just paid Kevon Looney $8 million. That's the most money he ever made during the season in his career, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're the Pelicans, that money don't necessarily benefit you via free agency. It just keeps you away from the tax. I shout out to Jay Burke and shout out to Alternate Reality. I do think they make excellent points. Jay Burke mentioned one-way defenders get bad publicity right now. Copycat league. I think that's especially relevant when you talk about guys like Dyson Daniels and Vanderbilt. He just got hurt. You know what I'm saying? And Alternate Reality trade is done. He has no value on the trade market. Washington's the only team that showed interest. But, ultimately that could change because at one time people were like, man, I'm not taking the James Harden. James Harden is a problem. James Harden gonna put on the fat suit. And look, if they would have stopped, because I don't think one game was enough to kill a narrative. But shout out to James Harden, he was incredible at the close of that game. But if they would have stopped at game 2 and said, what's up with James Harden? It's like, man, get this guy out of here. He washed. That's what people would. That would have been a narrative. And things could change quickly. Look, we just saw Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I'm personally not buying the hype, but we just saw Nickeil Alexander-Walker look like, a number 2 option on a really good
most
team.
Improved.
Yeah, won most improved right off the heels of Dyson Daniels. Did he win most improved?
He won. Yeah, he would. I think he did win most improved.
And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this, dog. I gotta keep it real. That's the worst award in basketball because that most
Brandon won
player,
that award.
Brandon won that award. Dyson Daniels won the award. Nickeil Alexander-Walker won the award. Not saying none of those guys aren't good players, but that is a terrible award. It's like a terrible award because it's not really measurable. Like, what I'm saying? Because, let's say Sadiq Bey, for example, he came out, he had a great year, but his team not good, so no one really cares. Or he could have won a comeback player of the year, what have you. But
it's also scenario based because if I go from being if I go from being a bench player to a starter. Right. I'm naturally gonna have because of more time, more responsibility. My numbers are gonna improve. That's just the way it goes. Unless you're truly not good.
Shout out to Josh Murdoch. He asked a good question. Make sure y'all send y'all questions in too, so we can star them and get to some of y'all star questions. And make sure you hit the like button as well. Josh Murdoch said, "Which players do y'all like in this year's draft?" I ain't gonna lie. Josh. I want to kind of speak about players that the Pelicans could potentially be interested in this year's draft. I did hear they have some interest in Chris Sanak, Josh, but somebody who not with the Pelicans at all, but somebody who's really into scouting. They're just like, we are not fans of Chris Sanak. That's what somebody told me. They weren't fans of Chris Sanak, and they're just like, the strength underneath the rim ain't there. We really didn't see that leap that we were anticipating. Who are some of the guys that you think the Pelicans should take a flyer on that you like in this year's draft?
I'm gonna be honest. Two things I look at this. Until we get a pick, I'm not even worried about the draft because way I'm gonna be honest, the way I saw the draft kind of shaking out with for example, you have some avenues where you could get a player to maybe Golden State thinks to send you 11 for Herb Jones, or you know what I mean? You got Denver in their situation. Now they still sitting. What are they? What did Denver even have a first? Yeah, they down there at 26 with a first round pick. So maybe it's too many.
Is that too low for you to trade for that pick?
Not for Herb
26.
Jones.
It's good. Not you trying to move the contract, right? I'm presuming.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if I get Cam Johnson and 26, for Herb Jones, you could take it. You know what I mean? So so that's my thing. It's a wide range of the way the draft fell. For example, if OKC, and they don't even have to do this, but if OKC was look, we'll give you 17 for Herb and to take, I don't know, to take somebody's pick. Like, I don't know exactly what the range could be for this particular team. So that's kind of where I'm just like, you could be anywhere from 11 to all the way in the motherfucking 20s. And that's just a wide range. But what I do like is that none of the, so like Memphis, where Memphis is, right, getting 3, I think makes Ja more. I've been thought about that, maybe sending her to
Charlotte. Charlotte, what, 13 or 14? Ooh, 14. If they'll do that deal, I'm with it.
But you get what I'm saying? So like you could look at, so before I just look at my assets, like Memphis having 3. What is Memphis? I'm calling Memphis first because I'm still interested in Ja, right? So do I need to go to Sacramento and make a deal with Sacramento so I can then make a deal with Memphis? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how do we need to?
How do the dominoes fall?
How do the dominoes fall? But I know I'm thinking more about player acquisition as opposed to like a draft pick would be nice, but I'm looking at it from more so like, okay, what players do you have that I could possibly make work to my benefit? And if I could pull a draft pick in there as well, then that's fine. But like, for example,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So like if Miami, for example, Miami didn't do great this year in the, like they stayed at 13, like they didn't jump up at all. Right. So are you still interested in Giannis? If you're still interested in Giannis, you got to come holler.
That's gonna cost you.
You get what I'm saying? Like 13 ain't what it was if you would have got number 4. So are you still in the Giannis sweepstakes? Are you not? Like, what's up with Khalil and maybe something else you got on the right? So like I'm still thinking before I go, because one thing a lot of people have been talking about, and you shout out to you, you know, we talk a little bit off the little bit actually off you know, off the streams and stuff. But it's like you can't have, and a lot of other people that I trust, you can't develop too many players at once, like too many young players at once. Even if you are a bad team, it's still not good to develop too many young players at once. Right. Right now, I think you have, because right now you got they're not rookies anymore. They're gonna be 3 second-year players. If you bring in another, you got another second-round pick if you don't move it. So you got another second-round pick. I think Bryce McGowan, you look at him as a young player. And if you do trade for another, you got another first round. So now you got 5, you know, possibly 6 young players.
Let's remove Bryce. Just in the interest of fairness.
Take Bryce. So you got the 3 rookies from last year that's going to be second-year players. You got your second-round pick that you likely to bring in.
Okay.
And if you trade for a first-round pick, that's another, especially if it's a lottery pick. Right, another first round. That's 5 young players. You sitting there trying to develop. Like, it's just not enough space on the roster. Misi's still a young player. Carlo's still a young player. Like, what are you doing? You come to the point where you got to consolidate, and you're not saying you're trying to lose.
I think you get to the point with some of the guys. If, like, for example, with Micah Peavy, it's like, look, you got a very narrow path in NBA. You're a 3-and-D guy. You're going to be a 3-and-D guy. I need you to go out there and harass motherfuckers. You already got the size. You know what I'm saying? You got the IQ. You know what I'm saying? The jumper look good sometimes. That's going to be your path in the NBA. So some guys not going to need as much nurturing. Thankfully, with Jeremiah Fizz, he's a self-starter, but you still gotta nurture him. Derik still gotta nurture him. You bring in your second round guy, maybe he's an upperclassman, who knows? But if you even make that pick, because you got a limited amount of right now. If I'm not mistaken, I think they got about 2 to 3 roster spots available going into next season. You might be bringing DeAndre Jordan back. The good thing is you got enough salary and pieces that you can send out multiple pieces and maybe take 1 or 2 back. You're far enough away from the tax to make some things happen. But if you're, for example, in a scenario like Louisiana Garrett presented, and you mentioned as well, and a situation with where Herb is going to Charlotte, are you taking back like Grant Williams? Or are you trying to get Josh Green? Like, what's a name that you had queued up potentially? I think it would have to be Grant.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, where we are as a team, and it's not to say that they would do this, but I still think you got to consider like players that actually play on these teams. to be
What you
honest,
mean?
because at some point, so what are we at? 14 million. Yeah, Grant is one. Josh Green is one. Miles, do you consider trying to go Miles Bridges with a 1-year deal?
Oh, I would do it, but I
You
just
know what
don't
I'm
think.
saying? I don't think they
I would
would either.
I say that because now I'm combined. Miles Bridges is like probably their number 3 guy right now, probably. So
Mhm.
if would I have to combine what salary am I sending out with her to take back Miles?
I don't know, Hawkins maybe. I don't know if they will want it, but like
I don't think they would pay that much for her.
nah. Well, Miles Bridges, I don't know.
To me, I think that I get what you're saying. To me, I just think Miles Bridges is such a better player that Miles and a first, but and him and Herb the same age, so Miles and a first.
So like if you took Grant Williams, like what's the goal? Is the goal to get the pick, or is the goal because they don't have no reason to move Grant Williams? They can just keep Grant Williams and let him expire. Keep their pick.
I think Herb, the best version of Herb is better than Grant, right? If they want to continue to, because no matter Charlotte's not going to be a free agent destination, and you still gotta decide on some of these guys because they're another team like the Pelicans, to where it's like, all right, even if we had all this money available, the only way we really gonna get better is through the draft or through trade acquisitions. Because let's say hypothetically speaking, let's say they got all this aspiring salary and some picks they can put together, but that's the only way they're gonna be able to get like a distressed asset.
I just looked at this. Charlotte got 14 and 18. Who's to say they don't package and try and move up?
Yeah, you could probably maybe you moving up with that package to 11, 12, maybe.
I don't know. I'm thinking about Herb Jones and then like Charlotte, for example. And I understand like the viewpoint of Charlotte, but at the same time, like if I'm us, right? Like the only reason I would do as a PELS person like a Grant Williams deal. One is if I got one of the first, the 14 or 18. And then or if I'm just trying to have Herb expire, but I don't know.
You saying from the Pelican standpoint?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like if they offer me 14 and Grant Williams as an expiring, I'm doing it. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I would. And
what's the other pick? 18.
18.
If they offer me 18 and Grant Williams as an expiring, I'm doing it because to me the most important thing with Herb's contract at this point, because I think it has high potential to become immovable. Like, I think you just have to get that money off the books. Like, you got to get that money off the books, and then you can go from there. Maybe you create, like, same thing with Charlotte. Maybe you create enough space to take on a bad contract via trade, and you can, kind of make something happen with that. But I think
the only thing I think with Charlotte, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
My only thing with Charlotte is the style they play and the way they play. I think they'll fuck around and look at Herb as unplayable, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Grant Williams. Grant Williams at least got a little bit of physicality. He can shoot. He can play above his, position a little bit. But Grant Williams, he's not good either.
Yeah, and then why would I take Herb when I got Sion James?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's all about the goal, right? Because if your goal is to be a stump down defensive team with high IQ guys, low usage guys, maybe Brandon Miller takes another step. Miles Bridges gonna get his shots up. LaMelo gonna shoot that bitch to the gun stuff.
Going up. Yeah.
Josh Green,
shout out to him and the new baby.
Yeah, shout out to him. Congratulations to him. You got a couple other people. Then you got draft picks coming in. You know what I'm saying? You got draft picks potentially you're gonna want to do something with.
Liam McNeely still over there.
Yeah, so they got some avenues to do something, and you got an excellent head coach. Say a front court with Bulls and Edie is definitely scary. I hope Edie can stay healthy, man. I like Edie a lot.
I'm interested to see. So like if Utah don't trade up for number one and take AJ, right? Or if there's just no deals, no deal where like let's say they take Peterson, like if Washington just took Peterson. Do you think because of, like something came out that said that Carlos Boozer is working as like a player personnel person for Utah? Do you think there's no possibility they just say we're gonna take Cam, take Boozer and let what's his name, man? Let Walker Walker Kessler go, or you think they're taking the wing no matter what?
I think there'd be some stupid motherfuckers. I mean, look, shout out to everybody, man. We got 101 people in the building. Make sure you hit that like button.
Facts.
I think them bitches be done gone for cones. Because if first of all, I'm not listening to Carlos Boozer about anything. Shout out to Carlos Boozer, but I'm not listening to Carlos Boozer about anything. Right? Like, take my son. Of course you're gonna say that, right? Yeah. But on top of that, I mean, it's a cool story. But on top of that, shout out to Dev in the building. What up with your Dev? Shout out to my homie Dev in the building. On top of that, like, yo, we're talking about, and Carlos Boozer he's a power forward. I'm not Carlos Boozer, but something's power forward as well.
Yeah.
I got Jaron Jackson Jr. I got Laurie Markkinen. I got Walker Kessler. I got Filipowski. I got a bunch of young guys that I'm going to be bringing in at some point. Why do I need another front court player when I got 2 all NBA caliber players playing in front of him? I don't need another front court player. I need somebody to compliment Keontae George. I need somebody.
So you got Ace. You got Ace, Keontae. Your 2 bigs. Well, obviously you throw your wing right there. And you have your 3.
Man, Carlos Boozer.
I just said, bro. The only reason I mention it is because we see stuff in the draft, and you be watching the draft, you be like, oh, I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? So,
what's the last draft surprise you saw? That's a good point. What's the last draft surprise you saw?
Definitely Paolo going 1. I'd have to go back and look at him, but definitely Paolo going 1. I ain't gonna lie. Sar going over. I mean, your boy Reese Shea going over Sar. Sar was clearly the number 1 in my opinion. Said he won't go to Atlanta, and right now a lot of people saying they don't want to go places.
Yeah, so, it looked like AJ wasn't too excited about going to Washington. I think that's the only thing that could potentially change it. But once he get there, you start getting that money, you're going to play whatever they want you to play at, dog.
Man, the motherfucker say, I'm taking you anyway, then what? So
yeah, then what you going to do?
But again, is also you see certain things happen all the time. Like we see draft trades happen not all the time, but you see
them happen.
Draft. Yeah. Like I don't think Utah does this at all. Like I don't see them doing this at all. But I'm just throwing out.
They got Collier too. Shout out to Ivan in the building.
Yeah, man. I'm just throwing out like scenarios. You know, who's to say if they're in a more contending situation, if a team call you for number 2, you know, and you feel like fuck it ain't AJ, and somebody call you with something crazy for number 2, do you consider it? Like,
and I'm sorry,
what if you go all in for Trey Murphy? People be talking about Trey Murphy getting these Desmond Bain like deals. Like shit, if I'm auctioning off Trey Murphy, I might call Utah and be like, yo, what's up with 2?
Boy, Utah, if Utah, look,
I'm just saying, bro.
I don't know what I think when you're an organization like Utah, you will never be forgiven for trading a number 2 pick. And honestly, it's like, to me, it's almost like the Warriors. But it's like the Warriors at least were winners when they traded. Yes. I mean, when they drafted Wiseman, right? It didn't work out, but they were at least winners. They could justify it. And no one really wanted number 2. If you're the Utah Jazz, you ain't never won shit. You ain't even got your real name. You a stepchild. You got the New Orleans name. You ain't even got your own identity. And you ain't had a real bona fide franchise star since Deron Williams left, I think. Deron Williams left. Man, you better not trade that motherfucking pick.
What's the offer for 2? I'm just playing devil's advocate. What's the offer for 2? And what if you feel like Peter? No, I'm just saying, no, like if you Utah, like you getting ready, let's throw a hypothetical scenario out there, right? Because these are just, you gotta prepare for anything, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't believe none of this will happen, but let's just have fun, right? If somebody calls Utah for number 2, you know you're not getting AJ, right? And then Peterson got the cramp stuff going on. You don't like Boozer, right? Hypothetically, you don't like Boozer. So your options are you can take with somebody. People say what you gonna reach. I ain't saying Caleb will reach at 2, but some people might look at that as a reach, as opposed to if you trade 2 for, and you see teams that get ready to compete do this all the time. When Boston made the KG deal. I think they ended up getting like number 4 in the draft. And they ended up trading that to get KG when AD got traded to the Lakers. The Lakers ended up with number 4, which is how we got number 4 for AD. I'm not saying Utah of anybody is willing to do this, but imagine a young, I don't know, a young star possibly being available, and you put yourself more in a position to compete than not. So I'm just saying, if somebody offered them something legitimate, do they consider it, or you don't even think it's a consideration?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button.
People was considering if the Spurs should trade number 2 last year.
But see, the Spurs had a lot of talent. Utah got a lot of talent.
Utah got talent.
But the thing is, Utah ain't got that kind of talent. Because I think if the Spurs didn't just win the number 1 pick, it would be, and then you just got De'Aaron Fox for nothing. You got Stefan Castle, you got Vassell you could trade, you got Keldon Johnson you could trade. Like, it was just a perfect scenario for them. Utah's in an advantageous position, but the thing is, also the Spurs got banners. And you got the trusted Pop in the building. So you can say, well, Pop's here, he's still around. He's not the coach, but his DNA is still within the organization. Pause. And shout out to hundreds of people in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. But I think the only team, not the only team, but one of the few teams I can see really making that call, and it would make sense to me, would be the Bulls.
Okay.
I can see the Bulls. I can see Bryce and Graham say, I just got here. I'm about to let them hang, man. I'm calling what it's going to take. But I think in a draft, it depends on how equally yoked you feel these players are. Because I think if I'm 1 through 4, I'm comfortable with almost anybody.
I think that depends on where you at too. Because if you're in the thing about those teams is where, because it's interesting because number 1 and number 2 both made we plan on contending next year kind of moves, right? Like
with the Wizards,
the Wizards and Utah both made moves that signal we're getting ready to contend more so than next season. So again, man, as much as we talk about like the 2 timelines, both of those teams immediately put themselves on 2 timeline situations as well, with the amount of young players and then the veteran players that you have. Like, what do you do with, like, I don't know if Laurie give a fuck because he just got paid a year ago, but like at some point Laurie gonna want to win too. How long is it gonna take for all of those dudes to come along, especially if ain't none of them Vic. So like, what's your window?
I think if you saying from the standpoint of trading the number 2 pick for a real player, like I'm
just saying like if hypothetically, right? Okay. Like I don't know for sure. Like we'd have to look at, well, appreciate y'all, dog. We'd have to look at certain opportunities, but I'm not saying that Peterson wouldn't help Utah, right? Like I definitely think Peterson would help Utah, but Peterson helps them like what if they truly believe that Peterson got like the cramping is not just a creatine thing, and that's a real thing. You drafting a rookie and have to fucking load manage him?
Yeah. because bro, again, this is Utah.
How much value you think you could get for 2?
I think you can get a lot of value on 2 for 2, because I think if you look at a team like, let's throwing this out there, let's say the Phoenix Suns hypothetically, and they're like, man, we trust our program here, and we'll get this, and we gotta hook this motherfucker up to an IV during every timeout. We gonna fix it. We give them a spoon of mustard every time out. We gonna fix them because we ain't getting no free agents. I think that's the thing with high upside guys. If this was the Knicks, I think they would consider it. But since it is like Utah, if it was New Orleans, it's like that pick is not getting traded, right? So
hypothetically, if like let's say a player like Devin Booker, if they was like, shit, we'll do Devin Booker for 2. Do you think you wouldn't even consider it?
Nah, I think because also what you don't want to do if you're Utah, Laurie's not that young.
No.
And Jaren Jackson Jr., he's young, but he's not like necessarily. Yeah, he's not like a bona fide all-star type guy.
Right.
Not yet. Keontae George. We need to see if that's a fluke. And worse, in a world where one or two of those guys don't live up to their potential, in JJJ or Laurie, I need to be able to pivot to a new timeline almost immediately. And I got Ace Bailey. So
you already on the new timeline.
But see, they threaten the needle because I got Ace.
They on the same situation we on.
Yeah, I wish.
Well, I'm just saying they're a little further. They're a little further depending on how you do these stars and their coaching.
Yeah, I think I
would consider shopping Laurie too.
I think that team is good enough to where, but then you ain't got no shooting. So and in the event that Peterson or AJ aren't strong shooters, you ain't got no space, and JJJ, he willing to shoot it, but he ain't no great shooter neither. Then you got to consider like bringing what you gonna do with Kessler. I think they're in the ideal situation where they got enough young, cheap, high contributing talent, and in the event that something doesn't work, you can pivot. I think Laurie got one of the worst contracts in the NBA, honestly.
Absolutely.
He got one of the worst, especially like if you're going to keep tanking. But this year, if he don't show up and ball out, it's going to look crazy. And you got because there's a realistic world where you starting Keontae George, let's say Ace Bailey, this hypothetically, because it could be Peterson or AJ, what have you. Laurie, Triple J, and Walker Kessler. So big ass, that's a huge front court, and everybody shoots threes. And you got Ace at 2 or 3. So he's a big tall motherfucker. That's a huge team, bro. It's a huge team. And you can pivot at any point away from any one of those guys who don't fit. Like if Ace become Brandon Ingram, you can say, all right, Ace, I'm sorry, it ain't gonna work. We about to go with Darren. We're gonna send you somewhere for some pieces. You know, like you got avenues to where aside from Laurie, any of these guys is going to maintain their value in the short term. So would you do just face value? Would you do Trey Murphy for number 2? Yeah, absolutely. You have to.
You do have to.
To me, look, aside from Wiseman and maybe like what's the other one? Wiseman and maybe the SAR draft. And maybe like 1 or 2 other drafts, top 2, you gotta do it. Like
the reason
go ahead. I would trade Zion for number 2.
So this is my thought. Trey Murphy, right? Everybody talking about Trey, and we'll probably be in an episode or something about this at some point soon. But everybody talking about Trey being one of the Trey and Herb are realistically Herb to a much lesser degree, but Trey is the big trade chip that everybody talking about, people calling for. You talking about getting, maybe Trajan is gonna make the call and be willing to throw you some picks because I don't know if they're gonna win it all or not, but they could use a player like that. People were talking about Washington. If you look at the Washington media, they was talking about putting together some kind of package for Trey Murphy, kind of similar, having a consolidate.
Was that before they won?
No, this was after. This was today. Okay, before and today. Before it was like if Washington wound up with number 5, because I I'm engaging, bro. I engage on X for damn near everybody.
Right.
Like I'm multiple fan bases and everything. I just like to get the pulse of what other people think of their teams and what other players that they looking at.
Right.
But Washington, before the draft came out, like before the draft lottery, was like, shit, if we end up with number 5, would you package like 5? And some people were talking about Will Riley or Keyshawn George or Trey Johnson for Trey Murphy. Like, would y'all consider doing that? And you had Washington fans like, fuck no. So, but then you got Pelicans fans that's probably like, remember I asked you about that, like, would you consider moving Trey for 5 and somebody, and you're just
I'm not that high on this draft, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I just, again, once you get past 4, it becomes a lot of undersized 2 guards,
a lot of questions,
of questions. And for Trey, see, here's where the real question lies.
What you think Trey upside is?
What's up? What do you consider his upside? What timeline are you on? Because I don't, look, to me, at this point, I believe Trey and Zion are tied at the hip at this point.
Yes,
because Zion is him being a very specific type of player. Like he scores underneath at the rim. He's not shooting whatsoever. Maybe he adds it to his game, but until we see it, he doesn't do it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They complement each other so well for Trey not being a creator at this stage, just a prolific catch and shoot guy and finisher at the rim. They complement each other so well that to separate them, you kind of just might as well just blow the whole thing up, in my opinion. Now, some people, they feel like that's the right thing to do anyway. But if it's not like number 2, number 3, I'm cool, to be honest. Because once you get past 3, really once you get to past 2, that's when it start getting like, wait a minute.
And so, like, that's what my questions come in.
Like, for example, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
For example, let's say Jabari, right? Would you say Trey and Jabari are like comparable players? They about what?
Similarly, yeah.
Yeah, like in Jabari's number 3, Trey was 17. So it's like the gap starts to get kind of weird. Like, and who knows, this year pick fucking 9 could be an incredible player, best player in the draft.
I mean, Dame was like what, number 5 or 6 or something, ended up being one of the best in the class. If not,
Drummond, what, number 10? No, Drummond was number 9, I think, or something. And Austin Rivers was number 10, right? I think we drafted
Austin Rivers was 10.
Oh yeah, man. I want us to draft Dame so bad that year. But yeah, so you really never know. But to me, it gotta be off. I can't refuse.
That's just my thoughts. It's kind of like if you kicking the tires on anything, right? And then you have Trey, and again, I like Trey Murphy. I would like to keep Trey Murphy. But if people around the league view Trey in this like Bane-like light, if somebody offer you number 2 in this particular draft, that's not to say Utah do it, but if Utah was, man, look, we trying to get ready to win. Trey's a young up-and-coming star, right? People think Trey got all-star potential. Maybe if it's not AJ, maybe, you just never know what people will do. That's all. I don't think they do it. I don't think they do it.
When you've been a bad team, you answer the phone for everyone. Yo, shout out
That's
to
why
everybody.
I'm at, basically.
We got 105 people in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Shout out to everybody. I think also with Trey, I think there's avenues for him to improve his value if you were considering moving him, because you get him in the right system, you get him with a good coach, he stays healthy, he puts on a little bit of weight and continues to trend in the right direction for his rebounding. To me, that's why when we talked about Josh Giddey the other day, who's another guy I would trade. I like Josh Giddey.
That's the person we talked about.
Yeah, I like Josh Giddey as a rotational guy. When you talk about certain players like Josh Giddey is a triple-double guy damn near every night. Like he can average damn near triple-double every night. Defense is a little questionable, but when you look at the Pelicans with Zion, with Trey, with Herb, with these guys, like you got to be able to rebound, you got to be able to end these possessions. So for what his shortcomings are along the perimeter, Josh Giddey ends possessions with rebounds. He ends defensive possession with rebounds, and that helps tremendously. So let me ask you this, because this just popped into my head. And if you're in the building, make sure you hit the like button, man. Would you trade Derik Queen for pick 8 in this draft?
No, fuck no.
Do it. Would you trade him for pick 5?
No.
Okay.
No. Bruh, like, so again, like if you took out a loan and bought something really nice ahead of time and I still like it, I'm happy about taking out the loan. I might have had to pay a little interest on it or something, but I was happy to have it earlier than having to wait a year later and then still don't know what I'm gonna think about it. Right?
Well, I mean more so like this hypothetically, they call you like, yo, we want Derik Queen. We got pick 5.
No,
cool.
because what I saw from DQ last year, even with the shortcomings, right? I still feel like DQ had a really good rookie season. Like he was not a bad rookie based on the circumstances. Didn't have the training camp because he broke the wrist. You know what I mean? Came in from day one and fucked up. They fired the coach. The rotations were bad. They didn't have a start. Like they like everything was kind of chaotic.
I kind of heard something. I heard, matter of fact, look, if y'all let's get into 80 likes and I'll tell y'all what I heard about what happened in Summer League. I'll tell y'all that. I'll run that story down to y'all. If we can get to 80 likes, I'll run that story down. Go ahead. I heard this.
Yeah. So, but that's just kind of my point. Like why would I trade for number 5 now? Another question of a guy that I might like, that might fit, I might have to develop, when I don't, bro, again, I don't know if these pieces fit together. It's not even just about the pieces necessarily. I don't think James Borrego did a good job personally. So I gotta, to a degree, grade everybody on a curve.
Yeah, you
right?
have to give everyone the benefit of the doubt for the most part. You have to.
Yeah. So like if I personally believe that, and even with that, and yes, Derik Queen has like, you know, things that he have to work on.
But everyone does.
Bro, he a rookie. Like you know what I mean? He's a rookie. And it's not to say that those things are ever gonna be like I don't think he's ever gonna be just like the fucking lockdown defender or nothing like that. But I think when you bro, that dude's stupid.
Shout out to Ivy. I'll be like, absolutely.
I'm not trading DQ for number 8, though. Not so I'll look at it this way. I'm not moving DQ right now.
This is all hypothetical, by the way.
Yeah, this is all hypothetical.
We're not saying nobody should. We just asking.
Yeah, no, I personally wouldn't, because like if you told me I possibly could get Caleb, like if I could get into the top 4, I probably would. Like if I could get a minimum Caleb, I'll do it. Or you know what I mean? Booze or one of them minimum, okay. Yeah. But like, what I'm gonna do? Draft A-Cuff and put A-Cuff next to Fit. I mean, you could do it, or you take Wagner. Like you take the wing. I like Wagner, but like, I just don't know right now.
Shout out to 504. 504. I ain't gonna lie.
He moving him.
No comment. I ain't gonna lie. No comment. Nah, on the real. I just think in a lot of iterations of the team that I try to build, it's tough for me to find a path with DQ at the especially at the 5, maybe at the 4. There's some avenues. My practice, if things change, the NBA changes fast. My practice is always, I think of the best case scenario for a player and how that player has performed in the postseason or just during the regular season. So when I think about Sengun, I'm like, Sengun's a cool player. But I'm sure in Houston, they kind of like, all right, we gotta get lucky again because, you know.
So I'll say this. Would I trade DQ? I would absolutely trade DQ. I just don't know if I've seen anyone yet
in the draft
that I would be like, if I'm at this number, I know for sure I'm gonna have something. Even if I don't even necessarily need to replace DQ specifically, but like if there's something that I feel would be more valuable to my team right away, that I would give up the year of development for right away. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
I ain't gonna lie. If Derik Queen to me was 7-1, this wouldn't be a question for me.
Fuck no.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
If Derik Queen was 7-1, you'd probably be considering a rookie of the year type player. Because I feel like his height, he got the good IQ. Like even with the lag of athleticism at 7-1, you could just be big around the rim.
I'm not familiar with Ade Myra, but I could be doing the due diligence. He put us on the Thomas Sorber. Sir Charles say, at least you know DQ can play in the league. Everyone else in this draft has played against college competition. DQ has proven that at minimum he could be a decent player in this league. And that's true as well. Like, you know, but again, and I'm not making this comparison, but when you like, but well, I guess I am making this comparison. Former Pelican Jahlil Okafor. You give the ball to Jahlil Okafor in that post if you want to. He was busting your ass. Post. Killing you. Jahlil Okafor was killing people in the post. He's not in the league no more because the league, that's not what the league was at that point. In today's age, he might have more of a place in today's league. A little bit more of a place, but that just wasn't what the league was at that point. So sometimes it's timing. You could be before your time. You could be after your time. Like, you know, it's just now the league seems to be getting bigger with Klingon and Edey and Yang and Wemby and who God knows what other 7-8 motherfucker comes to the league next year. Thank God Zubac and AD went to the East. So that's less people you have to worry about. You have to concern yourself with the Pelicans. And now Kessler and Triple J, all them have consolidated on one team.
One team.
Yeah, concentrated on one team. But you know, it's still for the Pelicans. You got to get some size. I still like the idea of Jalen Smith because he can shoot, he can rebound, he can defend the rim, he can defend along the perimeter. Plays with toughness, got a little size on him. University of Maryland guy, but you know, ain't nothing like a big 7'2" guy.
I'll just say this about DQ. I'm gonna give DQ and Fears benefit of the doubt of again, man. A lot of people last year's. You can make the argument, and a lot of people talk about this year's class supposed to be amazing. Until you see it, you don't know. Last year's draft class was actually really, really good. Like last year's draft class turned out to be a pretty good draft class. And those guys were top of. I think I would consider them in the top of that particular draft class. So them being lottery picks, I think if you give them the opportunity. Not saying that you got to like move stuff and all that, but just at the second year of development, you'll have a much better idea of what it is that Fears and Derik are going to look like. Because while Fears can show all the potential in the world, like you got to continue to get better.
Yeah, continue to trend upwards.
And continue to like trend. Like you were a 7 pick, bro. You got to trend up at a significant pace, in my opinion. And also, and similarly with Derik, like, he went 13, you know what I mean? And I don't know if that's still like fair like placement for him, but a lot of people said they like, you know, if you ask the chat, some other people like maybe he will go top 6 to 8 in this draft. You know what I mean? If that's the case, then you need to project moving forward and play like said player or said position. And if you don't, then you'll have a better idea of what these players could look like. Most players you don't even know, man, until year 3 anyway.
You know what team I think Derik will be really good on? Like the current iteration of that team, the Celtics. If Derik bought in like defensively, I think he could be one of those guys that, yo, you got to go out there in the next 5 minutes. Go kill them motherfuckers. Like, you know, and we're going to play off of you. You know, all they want to do is shoot threes anyway. You have Derek White over there. You got Jason Tatum. You got Jaylen Brown. You got a couple guys. Shout out to Ken Quantas. Hey, he said Edom plays kind of like DQ, but he's 7'3" and plays for Michigan. Hey, don't sleep on him as a prospect coming out of Michigan because we just had, of course, Jordan Poole's already in the NBA, but he's a Michigan alum. You got Hunter Dickinson, Michigan alum. So maybe they take a fly on it, man. Look, bro, you need size, man. 7'3".
Yeah, bro.
It's that shit don't grow on trees, man. You need size, especially in that West. You playing Wemby 4 times a year, Klingen 4 times a year, Edie maybe 4 times a year if you stay healthy. You know, you playing some dogs out there, man.
I got a question for you while we talk about the draft class. I don't know. Well,
my bad. I didn't say this. VJ was my initial pick at 7, right? But then I was like, he could be Victor Oladipo. Like to me, and I like Victor Oladipo a lot. I'm just not a fan of like small 2 guards, 6'4", 6'5", 2 guards. Like again, J-Dub is what fucking 6'7", about monster. Like so, it's just tough to me with undersized guards.
I'm gonna say this. I know I wasn't high on VJ coming out the draft. One, I didn't like. He was his offense got better during the draft, but he wasn't just like no fucking offense. Like he was good in college. Don't get me wrong. He was a scorer for Baylor. I did not know if his athleticism would flash like it flashed in the NBA as it did in college. Like I didn't know if that athleticism would translate, and his offensive game was much better, like in the NBA. Than it was in college.
One of the knocks on him was he couldn't finish at the rim. Like he could dunk, but you gotta make a layup, you're gonna be in trouble. And that's was one of the knocks on him.
And he came out shooting a 3, you know what I mean, pretty consistently. And he like the handle was much better than I thought it was gonna be. So no, man, I think VJ did a really good job. Here's the question I wanted to ask you real quick though, before we possibly move on from the rookies.
Yeah.
How soon, and I don't know if I asked you this, but how soon do you think Jeremiah Fears can be at least as good as Trey Murphy was this year? Not saying from at least from an impact standpoint, because this is how I view it.
Yeah.
Trey this year was obviously your number 2 player. But for the Pelicans to really progress, as a team, let's say they keep it together or whatever, then Jeremiah Fears has to be one of your better players. You know what I mean? So how soon can Fears?
You mean one of your better players, like I'm trying to like the post Zion era?
No. Like, let's say you keep them, right? Because this is how I look at it. I think if Zion is your one, and if Zion is your one, and let's say Trey is your 2. As of right now, that's how the team is constructed, right? Zion is your 1, Trey is your 2.
On paper, anyway.
Right, on paper at least.
Yeah, because Zion shooting 3 shots a game.
Yeah, dog. They say what they wanted. Z shoot that bitch 8 times, still end up with 19. Motherfucker shooting that bitch 20 times and still got the same 19.
Well, Borrego was trash, dog. Borrego was trash, dog.
Whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Okay.
But my thought is that for this team, for Joe Dumars' vision, I imagine, let's say he's really not blowing it up, he's not trading everybody.
Right.
For this team to take a step, one of your young player like Fears has to like become similar to how Philly took their step when Maxey just became almost as good as Embiid, right? Not as good as Embiid, but you know what I mean? It was
all NBA caliber guy,
yeah. And even like when Harden was there, he might not have been all NBA. It was like, well, he's at least all-star level, right?
Yeah.
To where it's like, okay, you're looking at him as like your second best player. If you looking at Trey as of last season was below all-star level, right? How soon can Fears get to
French
at least
all-star
Trey's level, to where you're looking at the team and you say, okay, I got Z and whatever Z is, Trey, whatever he is, and now I have a Fears that's at least this level.
Shout out to Louisiana girl, and look, let me tell y'all something. Louisiana girl will be on the money. She said somebody just told me AD about to try to get traded again. Get traded back to the Pelicans, bro. Come back to the Pelicans, bro, so we can get the Bucks number 1 pick. I'm tripping off none of that shit. Come back home to the Pelicans. Yeah,
bring him back.
Yeah, I ain't with that sensitive thug shit. Come back home to the Pelicans, bro. I ain't giving up much to get him.
Nah,
giving up much to get him. But come back home to the Pelicans.
Over there. And then Poole ass back over there.
I'll trade DeJounte and
DeJounte back with Trey again. You already know Trey.
Or is it like a 3-team? So if he was willing to come back, I'd be like, look, I'm coming back, dog. Let's run it. Fuck that.
Like, if I'm AD, that's a good move for AD from a PR perspective, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, AD got a lot more years behind him than he do in front of him playing. Because AD I ain't never seen a nigga fall on the ground after hitting his hand.
Man, go get you a 3-year deal to secure that.
But that aside, to answer your question, I think Fears could do that by year 2, year 3. Because I think Fears is going, and that's the thing with Trey. The Trey conversation has so much nuance to it because Willie Green really fucked over Trey, bro. To me, Trey was arguably the 3rd or 4th best player on the team by year 2. Honestly, like by year 2
for sure.
Yeah, because again, Trey should have been starting at least by year 3. Like, you know what I'm saying? So but you playing Gary Clark and Tony Snell and Herb still starting, and some of the things just didn't make sense. So there wasn't a pathway for consistent minutes and the ability to make mistakes. Also, Trey has been injured several off seasons in a row. But I think if the paths were equal, I think Trey would probably be a fringe all-star right now. But to answer,
I agree.
I think to answer your question, because I don't think Jeremiah Fears is gonna have that problem. It's evidenced by this year. I think by next year, year 3 for sure. But next year he can surprise you. He can surprise you. Hopefully he is in a positive way.
I agree. The reason I even mentioned it is because I know we talked about Utah, but if you look at Keontae George's ascension, you could make a case that he might be the best player on that team before they trade for Jaren Jackson. Like, and how Laurie is, you could say Keontae and what he was showing last year, shit, he looked just as good as Laurie.
It just took a little while. It just took a little while. Yeah.
Right. So, like, again,
this would be what, Laurie, Keontae 3rd year?
Yeah, last year was year 3. So going into next year, you probably like Keontae might be the best player on that team. I'm not saying for sure, but I'm just saying like if the progression is there, because a lot of people think Laurie plateaued.
I think Laurie did plateau.
So if Keontae takes another step, it wouldn't be surprising to be like he one of the better players on that team.
For some players, I think and here's the thing with undersized guards. The peak for undersized guard is probably Isaiah Thomas, Allen Iverson. Not because Brunson's so bad at everything other than scoring. It's like, well, it's like, well, fuck. He ain't gonna never be like a solid defender. Whereas like some guys can become solid defenders, rebounders, what have you. I think if it's like Isaiah Thomas and Iverson, maybe just like the super duper MVP guys. I can't say Steph because I don't really count Steph as an undersized guard because Steph like
he's 6'3".
Yeah, he just skinny. But like Steph don't look like super overpowered. Where you look at Jeremiah Fairs and Maxey, they look like shorter guards. Yeah. So to me, Maxey, it would be impossible for him to get any better, in my opinion, unless he shot like 45 from three, like because he's so great right now as an undersized guard. The ceiling just shifts. Like to me, and Steph got better defensively. Steph started rolling off them screens. I
think CP is like peak for a small guard.
But see, CP was a traditional point guard.
True.
And he kept getting better. I'll say that.
CP was like a point guard, and then he was a scorer when you needed to, and he defended.
See, and that's the thing with Fairs and Maxey, right? Maxey has the perfect, in my opinion, Maxey Iverson got the perfect combination of athleticism and skill. Right now, Fairs is just in an athleticism phase. And if the jumper comes along and the floater continues to come along, now you've added some skills. Because the reason why Chris Paul was so great for so long, because his game was 100% skill.
Yeah.
100% skill. And skill don't really age out too fast. So
the mental, the IQ was there.
Yeah, and the mental is just out of this world. So I think Fairs could be one of them guys by year 2 or 3. The only thing I say with Fairs is, and it's fucked up, but it's a tall man's league. You know what I'm saying? So it gets to the point where you're gonna have to get some 6'7", 6'6", 6'8", 7 footers around if you really want to get the sum of the parts to the next level.
I'm just interested to see like what, because at the end of the day, he is, and you
shout out to Michael. He definitely did shoot better for real.
Bruh, he's a year ahead. Again, he's supposed to like just be getting ready to go to college or come out of college.
Yeah, I think he would have just did his first year, right?
Yeah, so he's still a year ahead of what everybody thought. And I thought he played really well as, you know what I mean, as a rookie. The speed is legitimate. Like the speed is legitimate. I think the handle is legitimate as well.
Yeah,
the shot was there. Like coming along, he still got some areas he needs to work, obviously. But you also didn't see him get bullied too often for a smaller guard, which is something good. Like, he initiated contact, like didn't just get pushed around too much. So I'm just interested to see if he gets stronger and possibly, grows, or who knows what the situation.
If over the summer he grew to like 6'5", a lot of stuff will change. a lot of conversations.
He grows to 6'5", and now shit. Maybe next year we talk about he number 2 on the team.
I think if things go bad, he might be number 1 on the team.
He might. I think he's gonna be number. Listen, if shit go bad, he gonna be number 1 by February.
Like to me, and I think that's why people really underestimating this. Shout out to Mike. He said last month Fields was a bona fide lottery player. Oh yeah, Fields balled out. I think people kind of underestimating the length of a rebuild. Again, the Washington Wizards just got. This is their second time getting the top 2 pick recently, and they still rebuilding. And we ain't seen Trae Young and AD really play not together yet at all. So it takes time.
So was going into year 3. That was a number 2 pick.
Yeah,
you had a bunch of top picks. Yeah, you had a bunch of top picks, bro. So just because you get the picks, don't mean they're gonna develop. And even if they develop, don't mean you're gonna win.
Yeah, that's why I say like you know, be careful what you wish for with some shit because it's not, you know, stocks go up and down. Stock market go up and down. I watch it every morning, 4:30 to like what 7, 8 p.m. That shit go up and down all day. So, you know, it's a thing. Say, what was the last generational draft that was generational? I don't believe in that term.
Wemby.
Yeah, probably 2003.
Yeah.
Because
Like
Scoop didn't
LeBron.
turn. Yeah. Because LeBron, Carmelo.
Wemby is gonna be Wemby. Look, you can't even fucking deny Wemby at this point, though. And I'm not even the biggest fan of Wemby, but defensively, this motherfucker might go down as one of the greatest defenders ever.
I got Rudy over Wemby.
He only in year 3?
Because Rudy, I don't know. I just think
it's too early to tell.
Yeah, it's way too early. But I look at Wemby as just. I just don't see Wemby as a pound for pound player, dog. I just don't. I just don't. Like watching them the last few games, like just in the postseason period, I'm like, well, who knows? We'll see. Because he got a lot of room to get better as well. Say 07, 08. Who was in the 07, 08 draft? Anthony Davis draft might be a little generational. But that draft got no rings.
That's 2012, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's 2012. Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Andre Drummond, but then you got Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Do you need rings
Robinson
to be generational?
Yeah.
Or do you just AD got a ring?
Yeah, he got a bubble ring. That's why I was like, shout out to my dog Chuck in the building, 96 and 03. That's why I gotta give the 03. LeBron got that draft. That draft was still great.
LeBron, Wade, Melo, Bosh.
Yeah. 96, Tim Duncan. See, to me, that's the generation draft.
That's the AI draft, isn't it?
The AI was in that draft too? What year AI came out?
I think that's the AI draft.
I think he came out in 95. Was 96? Oh, yeah, I remember. Never mind. He was in jail. I forgot. He was in prison. But
I think AI, the 96 draft. AI, Kobe, all of them.
Ooh, and Tim?
No, Tim was number 1 in his draft, wasn't he? Tim came out 98.
Tim was number 1. So Tim came out 98. So Kobe, because Kobe didn't go to college. Yeah, and Tim was on the fucking swimming team in college.
Tim came out, I think it was the 90, because they first year they won the championship.
Then was Kobe draft generational really? I don't know. Well, yo, shout out to everybody building. We got 115. Oh, he's in 09 draft. 09. Who was in 09
draft? I don't know.
I don't remember. Shout out to everybody building. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. We're gonna get to Stephen Harden. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a good one. Blake.
Oh my God. Blake was nice.
Harden.
Blake was nice.
Steph.
DeRozan, Jordan, Barkley in the same draft.
They got Jeff Teague, Drew Holiday.
That's a hell of a draft.
Once you have Steph and Harden,
I'm hoping that this draft, I'm gonna be real. Oh, shout out to Anthony. I appreciate you, Anthony.
That's a good draft.
I'm gonna be real. This past draft that just happened with Fears, Knuckle, Edgecombe, it got potential to be one of them drafts. I was very high on Cooper Flag, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think Cooper
and he looked the part too, bro.
Yeah, he looked the part. He looked the part. I think
people be talking that shit about AJ and all of them, dog. Listen, people be talking about AJ and all of them, dog. Y'all gonna have to see Coop now.
84 draft. And look, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't even tripping. I'm like, let's go to Wall. Let's go to Wall.
Listen, how it stands right now, I know Khan Knibble ended on a bad streak come playoffs, but that happens to shooters all the time. Khan Knibble during the season gonna be
he gonna be a problem.
He gonna be amazing during the season. VJ
Duncan Robinson just found his footing in the postseason. It takes time.
It takes in the right situation.
What's homie, man, for the Lakers now? He came from Memphis. Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard, first couple games, they're like, who is this guy? You feel me?
These dudes, they got a chance. They legit got a this year's draft class. Yeah, this is draft class that just came out. I think they got a legitimate chance at being pretty good. Coop, Dylan, Edgecombe, Khan, Ace, Trey, Fizz. Your top 7 don't look like bust.
Yeah. After that, it become questionable because Noah got hurt. DQ looking like he's solid. Who else you got?
Kyler Murray balls look good. Cedric Howard look good.
Where did Igor get drafted?
You got
Igor went to the
Nets.
To Brooklyn. He went 8, so he could. I don't know about Igor.
Berringer look good if he get a chance to play.
This one of them drafts last year's draft to me was
solid.
You kind of could have picked someone from anywhere in the top 20, and shit. Renard showed you that you could have picked someone late in the draft and got some quality. Shout out to Anthony, man. I'm gonna answer this. We're gonna get to some of y'all star questions. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Say, Chaz, I have a question since my heater at 13. What either international prospect or college prospect at guard or forward fits the way the Heat develop players and the culture they have? It's a really good question. Damn, but they had 13.
Listen,
what do you think?
As far as like draft picks go, let's hold off on draft picks right now, especially for, and I hate to, I'm sorry to interrupt, and I hate to do that, but because one, I don't think we've properly studied the draft just yet. I know I haven't properly studied the draft,
right? Because we didn't have a pick, so we was like,
that, and then two, most of the teams like the Heat, I don't think you making that draft pick. Like I just y'all in a position where I don't think the draft pick helps them. So I just think they'll probably be moving that pick for a player. I think there's going to be so much movement to a degree in this particular draft, more so than anything. So where, and again, maybe not, but like the way the draft fell, like the older teams are in like they're not like in the top of the draft to where it's kind of like you have to stay there and take a player. They all got those, like Milwaukee at 10. Not saying that they can't take a player, but maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they figure something else out. Like it probably behooves them to take the fucking pick, but you don't know what they're gonna do or what's gonna end up happening with Giannis. Maybe they package that and move up somewhere else, depending on where Giannis end up going. What if the Clippers make a play for Giannis at 5?
I don't think they got enough to get him.
Hell no.
I do think, to Anthony's point, to your point as well, I do think one of the reasons you see teams like the Lakers and some other teams have so much cap space is because this is such a weak free agency. So one of the years that, one of the avenues to get better is going to be via trade. I think for a team like the Miami Heat, I don't think pick 13 necessarily does them any good. Seem to be like they hit at least a double with Davion Mitchell. I think they look to finally move off of Tyler Hero. Was really gonna like make me watch what the Heat does is Pat Riley's comments as it pertains to Bam and no center lineups, them having picked 13, and now the sense of urgency to add talent around Bam after losing in the play-in. I think now you ultimately going all in for Giannis. Whether it works or not is another question. But I think, and whether it's the right decision is a question. But I think they ultimately won't be picking that 13. Yeah, I don't think so, because you still got Jaime, you still got Jovic, you're not playing, you got Ware, you got Davion Mitchell, you got Hero. I just think from a guard that anything, I could see them trying to jump up in the draft and maybe get one of them top 5 guys. Maybe they like a cuff at 5 and say, look, Clippers, let's do something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Y'all got Garland, y'all got Kawhi, y'all don't want Hero. Like, he made another good point. He said, "Is this a conspiracy guy?" I feel like the NBA and Charlotte Hornets knew about Terry Rozier's situation, how bad it was going to be with the FBI investigation, yet they let the deal go through. Well, if you remember, Anthony, the NBA pretty much cleared Terry.
He ain't find no wrongdoing.
The NBA was like, we didn't really see nothing, if I'm not mistaken. And the FBI was like, nah, y'all.
y'all know what the move is. Yeah, bro, the NBA can't. They can't. So you don't think they knew about the whole Chauncey Billups situation? Though them dudes know everything.
Oh, and they got KJ last year from Illinois. That's a good point as well. Personally, look, I say this all the time. When it comes to like what people do off the court with some guys, if I know about some of the shit, I know the league. Because the league got private eyes. They got, investigated before things even hit the press, unless you're just busted on the scene. Dog, there's some things that happened with the Pelicans during the David Griffin regime that I was told that y'all ain't never heard about. For one, I ain't know, right? And for two,
Right.
I'm talking about some of the shit would blow your mind. You'd be like, damn, that happened. Like,
imagine
it's
this.
a wild shit.
Imagine this just on a much smaller scale. When Zion got suspended for the plane, it was like, you think this was the first time Zion missed a plane? It's like, well, it's the first time they reported Zion missing a plane. So technically, it's the first time Zion missed a plane. But I say that to say it's a bunch of shit that everybody know behind the scenes that's absolutely not getting reported. So I say all of that to just be kind of like, no.
The football players even worse.
Come on,
football is even worse. Look, dog, I'm telling you, you got a lot of young men in a small city making a lot of money in Miami. Oh my God, like Miami, places like Charlotte, like you could just, hey man, for real, you could live it up.
You give me 250 mil, I'm gonna act just like him, respectfully.
Yeah, you give me $250, I'm gonna make it work. Look,
I'm making clap.
Yeah, look, give me 250 and turn me loose.
250 250 at a Good Friday and be like, no, that bill went down.
What that boy Juvenile say? Somebody that you may not see for 3 or 4 nights. Boy, you like, look, you give me 250, turn me loose on bourbon, I'm coming back with $75.
Oh yeah,
like man. So no, we gonna get to the star questions, man, and we gonna get up out of here. Yo, appreciate everybody that build and make sure y'all hit that like button. Yo, Kennedy said looking at targets like Bilal could be maybe Cam Whitmore. Man, I don't know. Can you believe
I'm out on Cam right now? I ain't gonna lie. I like Cam. I wanted Cam too. Cam.
Maybe he was.
I take him on the two-way. I take him on the two-way.
Is he gonna be a free agent?
I think so. I think this year was like his restricted.
I roll the dice.
Yeah, I roll the dice on a two-way type deal. Yeah.
Let's see. Say we still don't have a coach. Well, look, to everybody with coach questions, so Monday is an official news day. So maybe we get an announcement then, you know what I'm saying? I'm keeping my ears open. Look, I talked and joked with a bunch of people over this weekend. It was like, I ain't heard shit. Like everybody, we all kind of like, yo, they doing such a good job at keeping this from getting out. Like we really like respecting it. And I think a lot of people gonna have egg on their face, dog. I ain't gonna lie. I really do. Terry says, should we go get Isaiah Evans late first? You got any insight on Isaiah?
Listen, I don't know, because I'll just say it this way. I am not paying attention to the draft just yet until we get a pick. Until these motherfuckers go get a pick. And I don't know what our needs are gonna be by what we give up to get said pick. So you know what I mean? Like,
I just hope if they get the pick, it ain't on draft night.
So you have enough time to do
so I can do my due diligence.
I will say this: even if they make a draft day type deal, I think you done kind of already kick the tires on what areas something might be there, so you'll have at least somewhat of a list.
I'm calling my shot at pick 15. I'm calling my shot at pick 15. Chicago.
Who's 15? Chicago?
Yeah, Trajan. Let's do it. Calling my shot. Trajan. No, I say Trajan. Bryce. I got my tokens messed up. Bryson. Let's do it. J. Cal said, what coach, who y'all thinking? I'm still saying Ryan Deasy.
Until it's not Rondo, it's Rondo.
Until it's not Rondo, I'm gonna say Rondo. Until it's not Rondo, I'm gonna say Rondo, man. Y'all check out who represents Rondo and who represents Zion Williamson from agent wise. The Kari said, do y'all think we find a way to get a first round pick? I do.
Herb Jones.
I think
Herb Jones is the easiest path to a first round pick.
Easiest path, tradable contract. Now you might have a team that comes calling for sharpshooter Jordan Hawkins.
All of those teams in that mid area 12, 13, like Oklahoma City at 12. Not saying that they even need her, but like they got
what the Lakers picking at, you know?
25.
Nah, that's too late. I mean,
that's my point.
If it's Cam Johnson for her,
if it's player and pick,
I'll take a later pick. If it's just but I still like Jalen Smith in 15 for her personally.
I think that's fair.
Say when we get in the coach, hopefully tomorrow, dog. Lottery
next week, man. Next week, they just survived the lottery.
And look, no, it's funny. Now they really could just hold their nuts. Be like, oh, we ain't gotta tell y'all nothing. Nah,
I can tell y'all shit.
Yeah.
We
What
ain't
y'all
hiring
thoughts on
no
Cam
coach till the
Boozer?
season start.
I haven't watched Cam a lot. What's your thought on Cam?
I like Duke. I like Cam. I think Cam got a history of winning. He was, with USA for a while and did well. Him and his brother both had NBA talent, like NBA lineage and all of that. I think he's gonna be good. How good? I don't know. I know people had talked about him being. People was talking about this. The shit that I ain't like. People said if Cooper Flag was in this draft, Cooper wouldn't be the best player. I ain't seen nothing.
Not after what I saw.
I ain't seen nothing from nobody this year to make me think that any of them was gonna be better than Cooper. That's what like coming out, everybody was talking about. Oh, Cooper wouldn't have been. That's why he reclassified up and all of that. He wasn't gonna be number one. The Cooper was that dude.
A part of that is draft marketing too, bro. Like we got to get y'all to watch the draft every year. So a part of that is all draft marketing. Say, will we finally address 3-point shooting with a new head coach? I think so. They got guys like Fontecchio, Gillespie available this all season. We spoke about Jalen Smith, who could potentially be. They were supposedly open to trading him this past season. I think
getting hurt.
Getting hurt by here. That's
getting hurt 30% out of the building is automatically boosting up the percentage.
Yeah, some addition by subtraction. I think once you heard Troy, for those of you who this is the first time you're hearing Troy Weaver, when you heard Troy Weaver say that about the number 7 pick and Killian Hayes, and he just got waived. So he ain't tripping on I don't think anyway. I don't know. Skull say, does the Denver series worry y'all at all for the PELS draft for 2 non-defenders? Seems like it's a defense era. I think he means with Jokic and Murray. Them same 2 non-defenders won a ring though, and that was only 2 seasons ago.
If you're gonna have 9 defenders, you gotta have a lot of I'm cool with playing 9 defenders if we got all offense. Like if it don't matter what kind of defense you put out,
we'll run you off the court. Yeah,
we running you off the court like the fuck guard. Like we beat you 150 to whatever 140. I don't care though.
And Aaron Gordon was hurt, and he's been hurt the last couple postseasons. I think when you look across the board with most teams, they usually only got like 1 or 2 defenders.
And I think Minnesota at this point is a bad matchup for them. And they was outpaid. They was without Peyton Watson.
Yeah, that's another thing. But
now, granted,
Gordon was hurt.
Yeah, granted, Minnesota lost a lot of players too, so ain't no excuse.
And in the end,
yeah, but I think Minnesota, like the NBA is truly about matchups, though. If you find yourself against that one team that got your number, that's how you ended up years ago when the the We Believe team beat the Dallas Mavericks. It just was a bad matchup for them. I think Dallas against almost any other team would be okay.
I also say too, bro, that like, dog, Rudy Gobert is a great player, dog. Yeah, like, it is crazy. Like, to me, I just be like, damn, this man, he ain't gonna never get his props. Because I'm one of them people that be like, oh yeah, Rudy, like he's an afterthought, but his offense has improved, and he was giving Jokic the blues. Like,
bro, listen, and the defensive impact, while people look at the defense as, oh, you got to guard your man one-on-one. Rudy statistically as a big man in the paint has led like the number 1 defense and top defenses multiple years since he's been in the league until like Wemby's come around. Yeah, like Donovan Mitchell and him was like fucking number 1 seed in the West, bro.
Yeah, like the dude got credits at this point, like for real. Just Real, shout out to Just Real, fan of 76ers. He been showing love. He say might have to take a look at Terrence Shannon.
I absolutely take Terrence Shannon. Yep. I don't know who we sending over there, but you make the call.
Hey, they need a point guard. I got a former All-Star point guard. We had talked about that with
we
spoke about that before.
A Dante DiVincenzo deal.
Yeah. Say, is it just hypothetical? I love Fierce potential, but would y'all swap Fierce for Dylan Harper right now? Oh, that's a tough one. I probably would do it, though. I ain't gonna lie. Dylan Harper looking all right in his postseason.
I gotta tell you, if I took my love for Fierce right now out of it, I would say yes.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Harper's bigger. You see how he defending right now, bro? He out there guarding, shooting. handle, smooth,
Tall.
tall. Yeah,
Duke ball, man.
and that's
so
not that's no knock against Fizz, but
none at all.
number 2. He was number
Yeah.
2 in the draft for a reason, bro. I wanted
think,
Dylan Harper all that season.
To me, that's one of them drafts that where if you just draft the top 7 over again, no one would probably move. Maybe Trey Johnson, maybe, but other than that, no one will move. And this the final. Go ahead.
Ooh, I think if you had Harper, boy, that fucking DeJounte shit is like you ain't even concerned, bro. You that boy might have to come off the bench for real.
I think if you have Harper, you're not worried about who you put next to Harper. Like if I had Harper, I could go get a combo guard because he's 6'6", whereas I can't have 2 6'3" players. You know what I'm saying? Obviously not tough at all.
Yeah. Harper was number 2 in the draft. Like he the real deal. Like Harper the real deal. I can't knock Harper at all.
They ain't say is Tyler Hero underrated. I like Tyler Hero a lot. He just never stay healthy, bro. And
I think Tyler's really good.
Yeah, I think Tyler's a hell of a player when healthy, and that's always the knock with some of these guys, man. Dakari, with the final question, say Chaz, who would you be willing to trade to get your hands on Ware from the Heat? Herb Jizzle, DeJounte. If I could do Herb Jones, DeJounte, and protected first, I would take back Ware and Tyler Hero. I'll take back Ware and Wiggins.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I consider almost anything but Trey, Fizz, and Z. Like Trey, Fizz, and Z probably
for Ware?
Well, I'm just saying in general, like Trey Fizz, to me, Trey Fizz and Z are like my only true untouchables. And I don't even want to call them untouchables, but like if I'm saying like we talk about,
I might rather not trades.
Yeah, like you have to add DQ to that, but at the same time, depending on what you was gonna give me back for DQ, like I'd be willing to move DQ. So like, if you told me DQ for Ware straight up, I'd probably do it.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah. Then I'm getting a ironclad contract drawn up. Fucking iron, like no take back, motherfucker. No take back.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro.
Make sure y'all, that's today's show. Hopefully we get a coach by tomorrow, man. We're gonna try to do a breaking news if it all work out. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, man. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Tell the people where they can find you at, Al.
Man, appreciate y'all, man. Just A Davis on X, bro. And y'all can follow the Pels in the Blender show at YouTube as well. Again, that's at Pels in the Blender. Appreciate y'all, dog, tapping in for sure.
Yes, you did. CHEDDACHAZ. Play your number 1 big Pelicans critic in the building. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody. Much love to y'all. Appreciate everybody. And let's go higher. Rondo. Let's do it. We out, man. Peace.